Hello everybody, welcome back to the Front Mission 2 walkthrough, and I hope you've been grinding the arena like I have, because you will need at least 25,000 credits. Anyway, we're going to go to the hideout now, and we're going to upgrade all of our actual mechs, including the CPUs. Now, whenever you go into a shop, it's important that you talk to the shopkeep, so maybe he'll give you a network address, like this warehouse worker guy has. It's Lenora's network address. Now, depending on where you are in the game, like you can visit bars, you can visit shops, and like sometimes they'll give you really handy network addresses. Sometimes they'll lead to like a CPU upgrading site, or maybe you'll have to look online for those associated network addresses that will upgrade the CPUs for your Wanzers. Anyway, that out of the way, that little tidbit taken care of. We're going to upgrade everybody's actual Wanzer now, and in the next mission there are some actual air targets, so we're going to have at least probably I'd say 2 or 3 of our guys outkitted with anti-air, but we also need some long range support. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go down to Thomas and Rocky first, and we're going to handle their upgrades first. They're going to get the Vigi M13 torso, arms, and legs, just like everybody else is going to in these upgrades. And let's check the backpack. We didn't previously have one, so there it is, increasing our mobility, not a problem. Now we're going to update the shoulders. Now for his left shoulder, you're going to want a shield, and on his right shoulder, you are definitely going to want the MKL anti-air missiles. Notice that it only says 2 times 26. So keep that in mind. That's like 52 damage. And now what we're going to do is adjust his weapons. And since he is a hand-to-hand fighter as well, we're going to give him the double kneels in each hand. And then later, I'll clue you in on how to do everybody's CPU. But that's going to be done a bit later in the video. I want to cover all the essential upgrades right now. So, for now, Thomas is done. Now we're going to go to Rocky. And he's also going to get the Vigi M13 for everything across the board, just like everybody else will. And he's also going to get a backpack, because he didn't previously have one. Everybody's going to get a backpack in the Vigi M13. That's just how it is. And now for his left shoulder, we are actually going to give him the Sky Snipe anti-air rockets. And on the right shoulder, we are going to give him the SN46Z shield. And don't forget, Rocky is also hand-to-hand, so he's going to get the double kneel knuckles on both hands, because that's just what Rocky does. And that's going to outfit Rocky. Now, Roswell is more needed for long-range ground target support, but I want to make sure we have enough anti-air to actually deal with the hostiles that are going to be there in the mission. So what I like to do a lot of times is just make Thomas, Rocky, and Roswell an anti-air group, but I also want him to have missiles too, so I'm going to split the difference basically. I'm going to give him the Vigi M13, as you can see, across the board, including the legs, just like anybody else. And he's also going to get the backpack. And once you've done that, here's what we're going to do for the weapons. In his left hand, he's clearly specialized in all long range, so you might as well get him working on that as much as possible. We're going to give him a bazooka, and we'll adjust the fire control system later in order to further enhance that. Now, for your left shoulder, you are going to want the MKL-1 anti-air missiles, so we'll give him those. And on the right shoulder, let's see if they have any regular... Yeah, the Wild is the upgrade of the other missiles we had for ground. So, with that out of the way, everybody's happy. We've got our anti-air squad figured out. And now I'm just going to equip the rest of these guys as ground troops how I need them. And again, everybody's going to get the Vigi M13s across the board. And given the fact that Ash is, in actuality, a designated rifleman, there's a backpack just to prime you. Given how he's like a designated rifleman, we just want to give him the shield on that shoulder and a shield on this shoulder. Now later on, and I do mean later on in the game, once he earns the skill Lethal Shot, you will want to put long-range missiles on him, but we're not anywhere near that point in the game yet. That's like way later on or more towards the end game. Anyway, since he's a rifleman, we're just going to stick 2 last word rifles on him so he can start working on that, because eventually he gets the sniper perk that works with semi-auto rifles, you know, single shot items. Anyway, with Ash taken care of, we're going to move down to Joyce. Now, Joyce is also long range, so he's also going to get, you know, the VGM-13 like everybody else. Not a problem. And then, of course, you're going to go back out and put the brand new backpack on him. Everybody's getting backpacks, okay? Everybody's getting backpacks. And now you're going to go to the left hand. Now, for the left hand, you're going to want to give him the new Higa T9SG shotgun. And for the left shoulder, you're just going to give him a wild. And for the right shoulder, you're just going to give him a wild missile. And that will take care of him for now. Now, Amiya is pretty much, you know, your short-range specialist. But she's also going to get the VGM-13, as that's pretty much the best one you can put on them right now as far as stats are concerned and, you know, like overall balance. You're going to give her a backpack as well, and you want to immediately update her shields. Now I would have suggested to put the Pew's M14 on her, but it's really not a good machine gun to have. So instead, I'm just going to put another shield on her to buff her defense a little more and keep her mobility high. And those machine guns that she has, the Jury EXs, you know, once we get upgrades in a future point in time, we'll put them on her. And once there's a better shoulder-mounted machine gun, we'll put that on her as well, since Amiya is just all short range. That is all she does. That's all she's going to do. And her perks and her combat style is proof of that. Now, as you can see, we have just finished all of our mechs, and we've just prepped everybody, but we're not done yet. You see, now we've got to do the CPU, and the reason why I farmed so much of the credits in the arena is because I don't know which CPU is going to be better in the upgrades. I want to make sure I have enough for everybody, and it's also important that you farm more than what you need credit-wise, because it's going to be an ongoing thing in the actual game. So, since I don't know which one is better, I'm buying 6 of both, and then I'm backing out, going to overclock here. And those were the Clio and Delicat. So now I'm essentially just going to upgrade all of these so that once I figure out which ones are best per character, I can just slap them on there. That's the purpose for doing that. And you'll notice these other ones are like able to overclock too, but those are like, you know, the beginning of the game CPUs. We're moving on from those. Overclocking them was fun while it lasted, but anyway, you can see, you know, we're down to like 9,702 money right now, but we're still going to check the items in the shop. And I want to point out some things here, okay? The Restore 2 actual kits are available now. Restores 100% of the parts maximum HP. Parts with 0 HP can be repaired. Now, if you were to basically put larger capacity backpacks on everybody and then just stick Restore 2s and then, you know, a bunch of ammunition on them, that's awesome. But, you know, you might want to keep at least one repair kit. You might want to keep at least one repair 3 on you if that's the route you're going to take, because that will allow you to restore, you know, 100% of your parts maximum HP. But honestly, you could get by with a repair 2, restore 75% of a part's maximum HP, and you would specifically use the repair 2 and repair 3 for your torso, because if the body of your mech is destroyed, you are destroyed. So that's just something to consider for sake of detail. Now, what we're going to do is actually exit out and then go directly to setup now that we're out of the warehouse shop section, and I'm going to show you what CPU you should use for which actual pilot, and then once that's done, we're going to go over the skills. Now, since Ash is short range, let's get him set up and let's see which one is better. Let's find out which one is better, the Clio or the Delicat. Let's find out for him. Let's see, that doesn't give him a lot of short range, and he's not using missiles right now, so that one's not going to work. Let's try the Delicat. Let's try that one. And it looks like the Delicat 4 that's been overclocked on modes 3 is going to do it for Ash. So that's what we're going to put him on. Okay, Ash is done now. Now we're going to go over to Joyce, to the computer, and we're going to load him up, and we're going to see which one's best for Joyce. Let's see, that gives him a lot of long range, but he's still got a short range shotgun. Let me check the other CPU there. Let me check the Delicates. And it looks like the best fit for Joyce right now is going to be the Delicate CPU, because that's going to make him really good with the shotgun when enemies get in close, and that's going to give him a decent leverage with the missiles. So we're going to do that for Joyce in particular, because this is just the way he's set up, and that's, in my opinion, the best way to set him up right now. So now we're done with Joyce. Now we're going to go to Amiya, and now Amiya is all short range, so here's what we're going to do for her. We're going to load up the Delicate 4 CPU and change the mode around, and she's all short, but this CPU does give us the highest rating, so we're going to go with the Delicate 4 on mode 3 for her as well, and that finishes out Amiya. Now we're going to go to Thomas. Now Thomas, let's see what CPU is best for him. Is it going to be the Clio, or is it going to be the Delicates? Let's check the Delicate now. Looks like it might be the Clio for him. Yeah, it's looking like it's the Clio. Yep, Clio maxes out his melee capability, but we still need some long range on him. So let me do a double take on this real quick. Let's check the Delicates. And it looks like I stand corrected. The Delicate 4 on mode 2 is actually best for him right now, because it gets his melee all the way to 14 and his long range all the way to 8. And he's got anti-air missiles. There are air enemies in the next mission, so that's what we want to use for him. Now that Thomas is done, we're going to go straight over to Rocky for his computer. And since we just, discovered that, he's going to get the Delicate 4 overclocked CPU. And he is also going to be switched to mode 2 for the 14 points in melee and the 8 points into long range. Because we know we're going to be using anti-air. So that's taken care of. Now we're going to go over to Roswell. Now Roswell, we already know he's going to be all long range, all long range, save if they actually get in close enough. So we're going to go over to first the Clio 4, and let's see what we've got. See, that gets long range to 14. Not a lot in short. Let's try the Delicate 4, which is the last one we got. And there's, he's all long range, so there's really not much you can do for him. It looks like I'm going to check the Clio again, and that really doesn't do much either. You can either go with the Clio 4, and that'll give you 14 long and 5 short if they get close in with the bazooka, if you want to do that. Or you can go right over to the Delicate 4 and just say, hey, why not? I'll just stick all 15 points in a long for him, since majority of what he's doing is long range anyway. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put the Delicate 4 on him, since I think that would be best for now. Here's hoping they don't get in close enough to cause you to use, a short range weapon. There will be better CPUs in the game later on, but since we know Roswell is definitely going to be in a missile role this mission, and he's long range in general, I think we'll be just fine with the Delicate 4 CPU. So that's going to complete the adjustments for everybody's equipment and their CPUs. Now we're going to double check the skills. We're going to see if we got anything new here. Let's see, Ash. We're just going to reorganize everybody. Feint, best position. And Joyce, we sadly do not have any skills for Joyce yet. He has not learned any. So we're going to need to get Joyce some XP, it looks like. Let's see. Amiya here, we're going to remove Lucky. And we're just going to reorder her perks right here. And you're going to want Feint. You're going to want Critical. And you're going to want Best Position. Those are the best perks you can put on her now. And please do be mindful that the more you use the actual skills that are on your pilots, the more they're going to level up. So you do have to pick and choose what you're actually going to do. I just thought I'd point that out. Now, Thomas is already set up the way he is just fine. He can use Heat Blow and First and Feint and Critical. Not worried about that. And then for Rocky, he's got Faint, Critical, and Heat Blow. He hasn't gotten first, I guess because he doesn't have enough XP to trigger the skill. Roswell, unfortunately, has no perks. And Joyce, unfortunately, has no perks, but that's just the way things are right now. So now that the CPUs and all of that is taken care of with the pilot skills, and that's in order, it obviously took you a significant amount of time to do all that. So what I would suggest doing is just save your game, like so, and then we're just going to take a peek back in the hideout shop here in the warehouse to see our credits. You see, we've only got 9,702 credits. That's not a lot of money in this game. Now, if you want, you can sell the old parts you had and obviously get some of that money back. But it's still not going to change the fact that, oh hey, I'm going to have to go back and grind the arena. But that did net us some credits back. You know, we're up to like 11,092 now. But anyway, once you actually finish outfitting your squad and preparing them like I did for the next mission, you know, give or take if you want to use the Clio 4 instead of the Delicat 4 on Roswell. That's up to you. And another thing that I need to point out is that given where we are in the game, it's like this. Every party has a different inventory, and if you don't spend enough time grinding the arena for money, you're not going to be able to afford to update their equipment. Because the reality is, if you don't grind the arena, if you don't update your equipment, later on you're not going to be able to compete in the arena efficiently because the person you challenge will be absolutely destroying you. So, you know, it's important to have everybody skilled right, and it's important to farm the arena long enough so you have enough money or more than enough money so you're not caught in that predicament. So, instead of me charging ahead with the next mission right away, instead what I'm going to do is save my game, and I'm going to spend more time grinding the arena for money. So when I'm done with that, I'll show you the amount of money I have grinded to, and then I will present that on the next video. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you found the information helpful.